Daily fantasy contests are now open for the new Premier League season. Build your lineup and accumulate points in real time. Download the Starting 11 app now, available on Android and iOS. Gameweek 5 was a tough one for us FPL managers without either Eden Hazard or Ryan Fraser, with the pair racking up 38 points between them, not far off the overall average of 47 for the game week. Aaron Wan-Bissaka came in for the injured Benjamin Mendy to score the only significant points across the defence and goalkeeper positions, after Crystal Palace edged a 1-0 win over Huddersfield. There were 13 shots taken between Mane, Pedro and Salah in Gameweek 5 during their respective wins over Spurs and Cardiff, with 11 of those coming inside the box, but not a single goal across the midfield positions this week. The forwards came to the rescue somewhat, with goals from Wilfried Zaha and Danny Ings, while captain Agüero provided 2 assists, prior to his early withdrawal after picking up a minor ankle injury. A score of 51 points was around the overall average, but saw a drop in rank from 50,000 down to outside the top 100,000. A little disappointing of course, but that's still a strong place to be at this early stage of the season. The main dilemma now will be whether or not to play the wildcard. So first we'll take a look at the current team and a possible transfer to improve it, and then we'll move on to a potential wildcard draft for Gameweek 6. Bringing Pedro in was only ever likely to be a one-week punt for Chelsea's attractive home fixture against Cardiff, where he looked primed to start. After Willian came off the bench to score a fantastic goal and win the penalty for Hazard to complete his hat-trick, it's less clear as to whether the Spaniard will start in Gameweek 6. James Maddison was someone we discussed in last week's Q&A episode as a potential alternative to Pedro, and Leicester's favourable fixtures make him one to watch in the longer term. Over the last 4 game weeks, he's scored 2 goals from a total of 10 shots, 5 of which have hit the target, and he's provided 1 assist from a total of 7 attempted assists. With Danny Ings suspended, an alternative transfer could be to swap him to Callum Wilson or Josh King, although Bournemouth travel away to Burnley in Gameweek 6, which should be a tighter game than their 4-2 home win over Leicester last weekend. Here's how the current team could shape up for Gameweek 6. The team isn't in terrible shape, providing Mendy and Agüero recover from their minor injuries. Walcott is perhaps the weak link here, but he's up against his former club, and the return of Richarlison should improve Everton's attack and potentially create more space for Walcott. The main issue of course is the lack of Eden Hazard, who scored 4 goals during home fixtures against Bournemouth and Cardiff in the last 2 game weeks. His upcoming fixtures aren't quite as tasty, but he's bound to have taken confidence from his recent goals, and perhaps we're starting to see Maurizio Sarri's influence on the Belgian, turning him into a more direct goal threat. But bringing Hazard in without taking hits would require the wildcard, and here's a look at what a potential wildcard team would look like. Brighton's upcoming fixtures are very favourable, after the next 2 games at least, so using Matt Ryan as the solo goalkeeper could be the way to go, to save funds for elsewhere in the team. They face home fixtures against West Ham, Wolves, Leicester and Crystal Palace between Gameweek 8 and Gameweek 16, without facing a single side from last season's top 6 over that spell. Marcos Alonso would keep his place, as would Benjamin Mendy, if the Man City left-back is to return from his minor knee injury in time to face Cardiff this weekend. Trent Alexander-Arnold could come in as a downgrade from Robertson, saving over £1 million to spend elsewhere. The right-back offers far less assist potential, but he has come close from a couple of free kicks this season, and at that price, you can be more comfortable benching him if one of your backup defenders have a better fixture. Eden Hazard would have to replace Sadio Mane, which is a move that could backfire in the short term, with Liverpool hosting Southampton this weekend. But the Belgian's price continues to rise, and he's hit the target with 6 of his 8 shots in the last 4 game weeks. As mentioned earlier, James Maddison is a player with a fantastic run of fixtures, and underlying numbers that suggest more points could be on the way. Only 5 midfielders have taken more shots on target over the last 4 game weeks, and that list includes the likes of Hazard and Salah with 6, and Mane with 7. Controversially, the seemingly out of form Mo Salah would keep his place in this wildcard team. Despite scoring just 1 goal over the last 4 game weeks, he's taken an incredibly high tally of 19 shots. Only Agüero has taken more in that time, with 22. Everton's Richarlison is back from suspension this weekend, and he'd be the man to complete the midfield 4, after his promising start to the season. Wilfried Zaha deserves to keep his place on current form, having scored 3 goals in 4 games this season, while Sergio Agüero would also remain in the team, providing he's past fit to play against Cardiff. Fulham's Alexander Mitrovic completes this potential wildcard draft with a favourable run of fixtures in the upcoming weeks, where he'll face Everton, Cardiff and Bournemouth after hosting Watford in Gameweek 6. Lukaku and Jesus are the only forwards who fired more efforts on target than Mitrovic during the last 4 game weeks. Even with Eden Hazard in the team, Mo Salah would be preferred for captaincy, with Liverpool hosting Southampton in Gameweek 6. Southampton have had a favourable start in terms of fixtures this season, but they've suffered defeats in each of their last 4 league games against top 6 opposition, conceding 9 goals over that run. Whether or not to play the wildcard this week will be the key decision, so stay tuned for an update on that via Twitter and Instagram later in the week.